I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Movie.
And Vita and Chip and Colby.
Alrighty then.
Pantera. We're back.
Haven't listened to Pantera in a very long time.
This is called Medicine Man.
Because I'm trying to,
What?
we were trying to broaden our profile and broaden our horizons. So we listen to a lot of different stuff.
I think that we have.
Yeah.
I think we've done a
And
damn good
I
job.
think I owe it to myself.
Hey, this might have been the problem.
What happened?
Remember we were like, wow, it doesn't look that clear.
Oh, was that what'd you do? Was it autofocus?
Yeah. That was turned off. Anyway, but...
Did you do that to prove your point about the, what do you call it?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
About the lighting? Did you do that to sabotage the lighting?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it was switched off from the live stream the other night. Never got switched back.
You should have helped. Alright. So, Pantera, Medicine Man. This is from the Cowboys. This is your... You know that song, Cowboys from Hell?
Yep.
That was your favorite Pantera song. This was the record it was on. So, this should be... I'm very, very interested.
We saw like a live video, and that was part of the reason why I liked it, is because you saw them
running around being juvenile.
Yes.
You know what we should do?
That's exactly what
we should guess what the song is about before the song starts.
Okay.
I think the song is about drugs.
Oh. You're probably right. But I was going to say, well, back in the day, the Medicine Man was the one that would roll into town with some elixir that would supposedly help you, I guess.
And he was always full of kablooey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think it's about somebody who's...
con. Somebody who's trying to...
a con man.
Yeah, con man, I guess.
That's actually a pretty good one. Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's see what it came out to be. Pantera, Medicine Man. If you want to check out our timely, topical, political commentary, check us out, Middle America, Vin and Sori. And if you want to see...
what goes on behind the scenes at our family, you can see Vin playing with the kids. He didn't even know I was recording. I don't know how that happened. But he was playing Barbie Mystery with them.
Well, I was trying to figure out this crime.
Yeah, somebody said in the comments how serious you were. I'm like, yeah, but he's not a joke when he does stuff.
Well, yeah. I was pretty certain I had it figured out. I had all my ducks lined up. The thing is, the previous one, I won. I won the whole thing, and I did it pretty early. Like, I discovered it pretty early. So, anyway, if you want to know what we're talking about, my Sori life, this is Cowboys from Hell. Let's go!
And go.
Turn. Okay. Dive back freaking down, ladies and gentlemen. Golly. Freaking.
You were right.
I was right.
You were right.
It's about drugs. Who would have known that medicine man is about drugs? Hmm?
Oh.
Man. Well, when you haven't, what'd you say? I'm sorry, babe.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying they're so good at what they, each one of them that they would do is just so good.
I know. So 19.
That was an interesting voice. I've never heard a song of theirs that sounded like that.
Really?
That voice?
Well,
that sinistry sort of voice?
Well,
what other song do we hear?
Floods.
Was like that?
It was very creepy, but it was meant to be creepy. I mean, it was talking about destroying everybody and whatever, but but I don't think, let me, because I want to be very, very circumspect when I say this about Phil. Yeah, I don't think there's a vocalist that has the type of range, legitimate range that Phil has. In other words, he went and he did the, who's our guy? Judas Priest guy.
Yeah.
Rob Halford.
Yeah.
He did the Rob Halford thing legitimately, though. It didn't sound like somebody doing a Rob Halford impression, but at the same time, he was also man. Like, he could pull both of those off in the same song legitimately. Like, I think there are singers that can pull off that high-pitched sound.
Yep.
But I think if they did it, it would be like, come on, bro, that's corny. You know what I mean? And then everybody can do a growl. But sometimes when some singers do a growl, it's like, bruh, you're not about that life.
Yeah.
But he can do both in the same song.
Yeah.
In the same chorus. Like, who can do that?
Right.
Who have we heard that can do that? Like, Halford, he's got that high range or whatever, but, he can't do, like, death vocals. I mean, he can, but it'd be like, yo, bro, like, you're Rob Halford.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it'd just be weird.
It'd be weird, yeah. So, like, he's gifted as hell. It's just that Dimebag, he was 24 years old.
Unbelievable.
This came out in 1990. He was born in 1996. 24 years old. And, it was probably recorded when he was 23. It's amazing.
You said he was born in what?
1966.
I thought you said 1996. I'm like, hey, your numbers are off.
Yeah, he wasn't even born. He wasn't even born
I know.
yet.
That's what I'm like looking at this. I'm like, he was amazing.
I was like, okay, because remember when we did, I think it was Orion, Metallica, and we looked it up and they were like 26, 27 when they came up with it. It's just, that's the thing that blows me away about these guys. Like, it just absolutely blows me away about these guys that they're able to do this stuff at such a young age. And it's not, we went to NAMM, everybody plays, everybody, bands are a dime a dozen, but to have such a distinct and unique sound, and for me, Pantera starts with the guitar. Like what Dime does with the guitar. And Phil, the guy is a genius in his own right. And it was funny because all I knew of Pantera before this channel was Walk.
Really? Oh, really?
Respect.
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
It's very simple lyrics and like, okay, you're angry at the person, he's not giving you your respect. Are you talking to me? You're a tough guy, blah, blah, blah. So that was my image of him, was just this bald-headed guy going like this. You're talking to me, and then, whatever. And I didn't even really think the riff was that heavy and all this. And then the more and more we look into these guys' body of work,
there's so much more to it than
he
that.
is such a deep dude, gifted. I'm talking about Phil now. Such a deep, gifted dude, man, and very, very, very aware. Like this right here. It was kind of ironic because
the beginning and the end.
Well, this right here, where it says, "Overwhelming with euphoric lift to lure you and steal your gift." Mm-hmm. So I've heard so many people, because when there was another song where he hit a really high note, and we were like, "Oh my God, he hit a high note! Like that's crazy." And people were saying, "Yeah, but the drug and alcohol abuse completely wrecked his."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So but I'm pretty sure that this was before he got into heavy drugs.
Oh wow! Oh my word, that's weird.
So it's like a lot of these guys, like we've seen it last couple of reviews where
it's
almost prophetic. Yeah. We used to do this. Knock on wood, my good luck can't get it back. So whoever did the knock first got the good luck.
We would say, "Jinx, you owe me a soda."
Yeah, we had good luck. And so we would literally do this for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh my word.
And then my brother would quit. He'd be like, "All right, I quit." And I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah!" And the whole time he was like knocking on the side. Because he knew how competitive I was.
Yeah.
He was so petty. Actually, it was our stepfather that came up with that little thing.
Oh, really?
We repeated. I said, I think my older brother repeated something at the same time as he did, and he was like, "No, my good luck can't get it back." And I was like, "What's that, Uncle Robert?" And then he's like, "Yeah, if you knock on the wood and the other person, but if the other person does it at the same time, then whoever's the last person to knock is the winner." So like we had this thing going for like years. So it has nothing to do with Pantera.
That's
all right, but to lure you and steal your gift, like that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't completely.
And that's exactly what happened to him. That's just crazy.
But I mean, it didn't completely happen to him because he can still write and he can still, he just can't. He can't sing, according to their fans, as high as he used to be able to.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, whoa, that was a crazy line to me.
See, for me, it was where, have you ever wondered what heaven's like? He can show you in one night overwhelming with euphoric right? lift to lure you to steal your gift. But then at the end,
right.
He says, have you ever wondered what hell is like? He can take you there, just one taste and you'll be back, and by the high you'll swear.
Right.
So it was like, it's both heaven and hell. It's, it's both for people. And you see that. Yeah. Like, you see how it, like, that's what it drives people. And, like, I remember seeing people accomplish stuff that I'm like, if only it wasn't a high at the end of that was motivating you.
Right.
Like, they could have such a successful life if they put that energy into bettering themselves, and you know what I'm saying? And then not going to the high.
Oh, I agree. And then when he says, by the high you'll swear, that's interesting because people usually swear to God.
Yeah.
Right? Or wallahi, wallah.
Yeah.
Either wa is and Allah is Allah. Wa Allah, wallah, wallahi. You're talking about, I swear to God.
Yeah.
But he's saying, by the high you'll swear. It basically means that the high becomes your God.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a crazy... But he's such a brilliant lyricist because, he talks about, what's heaven's like. Mm-hmm. And, part of me feels like that's true. Like, the ecstasy that people feel in those 14 seconds or whatever it is, part of me feels like that. And then, when you think about DMT and things like that, like it's giving you a preview of what you Jonathan Edwards, he wrote this thing on heaven, and he was talking about they did Jonathan Edwards was the guy that wrote Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, and that's what everybody unfortunately knows him for. Mm-hmm. But and so there was an analyst that looked over all of Edwards' works, and the number one word that Edwards used wasn't hell or fire or anything, it was sweetness.
Yeah, that's right, I remember that.
So he wrote this thing on heaven, and he was talking about the sweet ecstasies of the effulsions, and he basically said something about the ejaculations of joy or something like that. He was just trying to combine as many words that we apply to pleasure on the earth to what your boring day in heaven would be like. And so
Yeah.
he's just trying to combine. Of course, Edwards, you know, he was kind of naive when he wrote, so he would write things like that. And like a modern bass person would be like, oh my God, I can't believe what it just said. You know, but to him it was just like, oh, okay. So like I feel like there are these gateways to what it would be, what we lost because of sin that we're not supposed to open. Mm-hmm. And that we're not, and it's interesting because you get a guy like Brian or Head from Korn. Mm-hmm. He did every drug in the book. He was a drug addict, right? And he also had these experiences with God. Mm-hmm. And he weighed both of those highs, and the experience with God was better for him than the other drug. But when he talks about the other drugs, he was like, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like, I always wonder, like, okay, like, we have this yearning for that type of ecstasy and that type of of feeling, and we know that we can't have it on this earth, and so we open up these gateways, but because they're not the way that God designed them, they're going to end destructively.
Right. Yeah.
But even in Christianity, you don't have those moments with God all the time.
No, you don't.
They're I don't want to say they're few and far between, but they're definitely not normal occurrences. Like I've had some pretty crazy, ecstatic moments with God where it's like complete ecstasy and literally anything could have happened to my physical person and it wouldn't have affected me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is what Edwards is talking about.
Yeah.
Like he had the, you know, he would talk about going off into the fields and seeing a flower and like busting out crying because of the, you know, Jesus said, you know, not even Solomon in all his glory was arrayed like one of these. And so Edwards was just like, he'd stare at this flower and think about all the implications of what that meant for God. For, you know, and you hear about people saying, you know, when they're high saying, well, I just discovered something. And people make fun of it, but I'm like, whoa, wait a second here. I think there's gateways that are being, you know, and the whole DMT thing, we know about that. Yeah. So it's like there's gateways that drugs open to certain points of ecstasy that I think dark intelligences understand, but they also know that going there is going to be completely destructive because that's not the way to get there. You know, and it's kind of like this is so weird. Jesus tells this parable of these people that get invited to the wedding feast, right? And they're all in there, and then there's this random guy that shows up, but he's not dressed because he was handing out, you know, wedding clothes for if you got in through the front door, you got these clothes, and then you could come in, right?
Right.
So then the wedding feast is happening, everybody's having a good time, and then Jesus spots some guy that is not dressed appropriately, which basically means he didn't come through the right door. And he says, hey, what are you doing? He says, hey, friend, what are you doing? How did you get in here?
Yeah.
And the word for friend is basically like the formal, not friend like friend, but just like a formal, polite, you know. And the guy doesn't answer, and Jesus says, get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
And he gets thrown out where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
And the point is, there's a way to God, but you have to come God's way. You don't get to come in through some back door some way.
Right.
Well, while the guy was in there, he was eating, he was having just as much fun as everybody else.
That was weird.
And then he gets chucked out. So I feel like that's like what that is. Like you're coming into ecstasy from the wrong gate.
Yeah.
And so in the moment that you're there, you're going to enjoy it. But once you get called out, you're going to get thrown out. There's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth, which is what ends up happening with illicit drug use.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it was like Pilgrim's Progress was like that too. You know, he was journeying, and the path that he had to take was very difficult, and it was scary, and so then he knew which direction he was supposed to go, but then he would see another path that was easier and more pleasurable or whatever, and he would take that path, and then it would get bad, and then he would get back on the path. You know, evangelist comes and leads him back to the path and stuff like that. But yeah, same idea.
Well, yeah, it's like the drugs. It's like this boom, instant boom, instead of, you know. Because you know, like when you have those moments with God, there's a lot of hard, consistent work that happens before that.
Yeah.
You know, before that happening. And it's not guaranteed. And there's no rhyme or reason for when it happens.
Right.
There's no, okay, if you do this, this, and this, and this, God's going to meet you in your basement.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
like there's none of that.
Right.
It's just, But
Yeah,
with drugs, definitively.
Yeah. It's kind of like pornography too. You know what I mean? Like, you could try to get a relationship, or you could go down to the bar, try to meet somebody, or whatever.
Right.
There's no guarantees that night is going to go how you want it to go,
Right.
and so clicking some buttons and
Right.
and viewing whichever version you
Right.
want is much simpler
Right.
because it's a guarantee.
Guaranteed, the girl's not going to say no.
Right.
You do whatever. That's enough. And it's a gateway to ecstasy, right?
Yeah.
But it ends in a ton of destruction.
Right.
And people always try to act like these are victimless crimes, all of them, the drug thing and the thing is, like, even if you do something bad to yourself, that is still a crime. And I know people don't look at it that way because they're not looking at things but from that perspective. Especially what's really crazy and heart-wrenching about, because obviously we've dealt with a lot of people in drug addiction, is that they don't value themselves.
No, they don't. No, you're right.
So when you say, look what you're doing to yourself, they don't even have enough value of themselves to go, they don't value themselves. But those things are crimes too. Doing bad things to yourself is also criminal in the eyes of God, From a secularist perspective, it's impossible to make that argument, but we're not secularists. So everybody has value. So if you're a junkie and you're destroying yourself, society basically says, okay, good, as long as you're not doing anything to me. But you are, because now the society and the people within your circumference get robbed of you. So, like,
and we're all interconnected.
It's like, okay, so you get a guy like Phil, and you go, he's half of what he used to be or could have been because of his, like, so we were robbed of that. And what he did to himself, mashallah, good job. I'm glad he survived. But, there are no victimless crimes.
Yeah.
Even if you do something to yourself, you're so valuable that doing that to yourself is a crime. If there was nobody on the planet Earth, that's the thing. Like, if there was nobody on the planet Earth and you abused drugs and destroyed yourself, that would still be a crime because you are someone valuable. So yeah, it's a crazy thing, and obviously, we're slanted because we've seen the destruction that drug abuse has done to people, and sex addiction has done to people. But I love the way he started the song. Many distant miles away, past the shores of ever dark, like that. I wish
the magic man who bears an evil mark.
I wish he would write a children's story. I bet he would be a ridiculously gifted children's story author. Phil Anselmo, we command thee, we summon thee to write a children's story because you're a freaking gifted writer. Look at that.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of like...
Do that in that voice.
Dr. Seuss.
Do it again.
I don't know, you started it and then I finished
Many
it.
distant miles away.
Past the shores of evil dark.
Ever dark.
Their state.
Start over.
You read the first two lines and then I do the last two.
Alright. Many distant miles away, past the shores of ever dark.
There stays a magic man who bears an evil mark.
He helps all concerned. Those who come again return.
Injecting lies while fires burn the devil's heart.
With angels'
words.
That is crazy. Yeah. The devil's heart with angels' words. That's a drug dealer, right?
Yeah.
This evil bastard who's running around. He's full of evil. But what was that thing that we saw where the person was like getting off of drugs and then all of a sudden the drug dealer comes and offers him a free hit or whatever?
It's not something... Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I've talked to people. That happens to them all the time.
Yeah,
people that we know and love. They can be so angry.
They're evil people, man.
Yeah.
They're evil people. But the thing is that they're addicted to the money.
Yeah.
So how are they less victims than the drug user? A serious question.
I don't know, babe. I don't like it because I don't know anybody that's a drug dealer. I know people who are.
Yeah, you do.
Who are getting their.
You just don't know
that they are.
Yeah.
Oh no! Did I just figure something out? I don't know.
ATF, you can't find me. DEA? Huh? No, but I hear what you're saying. And all the justifications, like, oh, it's their choice and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there comes a time when the drug addict loses their volition, loses the ability to choose. Mm-hmm. There does come that time. And obviously, they're responsible for everything that led up to that. But there does come a time when the drug addict loses their ability to choose. Yeah. And this is capitalism on crack.
I'm not okay with that form of capitalism.
I know you're not. I don't think anybody that spent any time with loving people who've been in that situation, it changes you forever. Like, don't you feel like changed forever? Like you're yeah. You're never gonna be the same.
No, you don't see things the same.
Yeah. All right. What do you give the song?
9.8. I liked it.
I think it's a 10. The reason I'd probably give it a 9.8, but the reason I give it a 10 is because I think I love Dime so much, but I think lyrically, Phil just balled out on this one lyrically, and I think it's important because it's a cautionary tale, especially that first stanza. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll go with
Devil's heart. With
all right, 10. 10's all around.
The devil's heart with angels' words. Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Have you wondered what heaven? I mean, it's just lyrically, this is a lyrical masterpiece. I don't think we've listened to a lot of drug songs, obviously, but I don't think we've heard one that this is this poetic.
Well, some of them. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, some of these songs are like very poetic, and you could just forget everything and just read it as just a poem, and it would be really amazing.
Beautiful. If you need help with drugs or drug addiction or whatever, we'll put a link in the description, inshallah, and all that good jazz. We love you. We care about you. You are important, even if you're the only person on the planet freaking Earth. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.